So let's see the next problem. The question reads: a vertical double acting steam engine has a cylinder 300 mm diameter and 450 mm stroke and runs at 200 rpm. The reciprocating parts have a mass of 225 kg and the piston rod is 50 mm in diameter. Okay, here the piston rod means your connecting rod. Okay, so piston rod means your connecting rod, and please remember this is a vertical double acting steam engine. Please underline this word, vertical double acting steam engine. We will discuss the significance of what is a vertical engine and double acting engine when you are solving the problem. The piston rod is 50 mm. This is a connecting rod, 50 mm in diameter. The connecting rod is 1.2 meter long. When the crank is turned through an angle of 125 degree from the top dead center, steam pressure above the piston is 30 kN per meter square and below the piston is 1.5 kN per meter square. Please note down carefully that kilonewton is mentioned here in both the places. Calculate the effective turning moment on the crankshaft. So there is only one question, only one result you are going to find out: turning moment on the crankshaft. Turning moment, or in turn it means torque on the crankshaft. Okay, so let us list down the given data. Diameter of the engine, or the bore diameter, is 300 millimeter. Stroke length is 450 mm. So here you have to understand, since your crank radius is not given, it is conventional to consider that half of your stroke length will be always equal to your crank radius. It is a indirect, it is understood that it is a thumb rule that you can always take crank radius is equal to stroke length divided by 2. In case you can see the crank radius is not mentioned in the question, if you don't know the crank radius you cannot solve the problem. Therefore it is given indirectly to you. Stroke length of the engine is given to you. Stroke length divided by 2 will always be equal to crank radius. So therefore I have written a new formula here, R is equal to L by 2. Just remember that it's not a formula, it's a thumb rule. R is equal to L by 2. So 450 divided by 2 is 225 millimeter, which is 0.225 mm. Meter is the crank radius. Okay, so next, n is equal to 200 rpm. Therefore I am finding 2 pi n by 60 omega, 20.95 radians per second. Reciprocating parts, mass of the reciprocating parts, m suffix r. Okay, so this r is very important. M suffix r, capital R, is 225 kilogram. Diameter of the connecting rod is 50 millimeter, so it is 0.05 meter. Length of the connecting rod is 1.2 meter. Crank position, the theta is given as 125 degree. Okay, so it is given here 125 degree from the top dead center. Okay, pressure on one side of the, on the top side, P1, pressure above the piston is 30 kN per meter square. Pressure below the piston is 1.5 kN per meter square. Remember, it is a double acting vertical steam engine. Okay, so now let us see what are all the things we have to find out. Results, the question asked is only one question is there: turning moment on the crankshaft. Just we have to find out the torque. Only one answer is required, but it is not possible to straight away find the torque. So what if you look into the formula of the torque, you will understand what are all the prerequisites we have to find out for solving the problem. Okay, let's move on. Calculation of prerequisite data. So torque formula, what is the formula for torque? Ft into R, where Ft is Fp sin theta plus phi by cos phi into R. So I need to find out Fp, piston effort, theta, phi and R. If you know all these values, you can straight away solve the answer for the problem. Therefore, so hence we need to find out Fp and phi for solving the torque. Theta is given in the question. Okay, radius is also given in the question. Let us first find out the Fp. Fp equal to net load on the piston Fl plus or minus inertia force Fi, and here you have a vertical engine, therefore your weight will come into picture. So far in the previous problem, the weight did not come into picture because it was a horizontal engine, but here you have a vertical engine, therefore you have to consider the WR, and depending on the upward or downward movement of the piston, you have to decide the plus or minus symbol. Okay, we will see that later. Now first let us find out the load on the piston. For a double acting cylinder, load on the piston formula is P1 A1 minus P2 into A1 minus A, where this small a represents the area of the connecting rod, because that much area is not available for the steam pressure to act. The small a represents the area of the connecting rod which is not available. See, if you take a piston, double acting cylinder, okay, so steam is going to enter from this direction and push your piston downwards, and when your piston reaches the bottommost position, okay, your connecting rod is here. When your piston moves from here and reaches the bottommost position, so bottommost position, the piston, when the piston comes here, still the connecting rod is in the same place, okay, same cross section area is occupied by the connecting rod. Piston, the steam is applied from this direction and piston is pushed backwards towards the top dead center. So I have drawn horizontally, but this question is vertical, okay. So the area available for steam to act above the piston is this much, A1, and below the piston is A1 minus A. So this small a we have to find out from the diameter of the connecting rod and subtract it from the bore area, that is A2 or A1 minus A. Okay, so now let us substitute all the values into the formula. So P1 is 30 kilonewton per meter square, so 30 into 10 power 3 Newton per meter square. A1 is pi by 4 d square, bore diameter is 0.3, therefore pi by 4 d square is 0.0707 meter square. Please do the calculation, try and check whether you are getting the same answer. So P2 is 1.5 kilonewton per meter square, so that meter square, that should be, the 2 should be in the power, okay, it is wrongly written there, so please put it in the power, meter square. 1.5 kilonewton per meter square, that is 1.5 into 10 power 3 Newton per meter square, and A2 is small a, 50 mm diameter connecting rod, that area you are going to find out, pi by 4 into d square, 0.05 square, 0.00196 meter square. Cross check both the areas whether you are getting the same areas. Now put all the numbers into the above formula, FL equal to, so if you look in the above formula, I am going to put this P1 30 into 10 power 3 here, so which is 30 into 10 power 3 into A1 is 0.0707, so that 0.0707 A1, and P2 1.5 into 10 power 3 A2 A1 minus A, so therefore A1 0.0707 minus small a. So now try and calculate the answer. So after calculating, you check your answer whether you are getting 2121 minus 103, which is 2018 Newton is the load on the piston. Okay, so you have calculated the first component of your piston effort formula. So only you have calculated only FL. Okay, so only this you have calculated. Now next is your inertia force. If you find out inertia force, then only you can find out, put everything together and find the FP, piston effort. So now I have found out the load on the piston as 2018 Newton. Okay, next. Now I am going to find out the so obliquity ratio is required for solving acceleration, n equal to L by R. So 1.2 divided by 0.225, 5.33, n is 5.33. Okay, so what is the formula for inertia? Mass into acceleration, mass of the reciprocating parts into acceleration of the reciprocating parts, mr into omega square r cos theta plus cos 2 theta by n. So so putting all the values, the mass of the reciprocating parts is 225 kilogram, it is given in the question. Omega is 20.95 radians per second, put it inside the omega square, r is 0.225, theta is given as 125 degree, therefore cos 125 plus cos 250, 2 into 125, okay, divided by 5.33. So now try and calculate the answer should be minus 14,172 Newton. Okay, you get a default minus symbol in the answer, keep it as it is, but please remember, based on the theta I should decide whether I have to add this Fi or subtract this Fi from the load on the piston. Okay, so that is based on the theta. We have already discussed that when your piston is accelerating from 0 to 90 degree, you have to subtract, and when your piston is decelerating, you have to add. Okay, so FL minus Fi plus WR. Okay, so as mentioned earlier, you keep this default minus symbol there whenever your this function that we have derived in the first derivation, okay, takes care and adjust the symbol by itself. You don't have to change the plus or minus here when you are doing, actually the derivation tells you plus or minus, but when you are doing a problem, you can keep a default minus symbol in the formula. Keep a default minus symbol in the formula. The answer will adjust itself. If you see here, when you need to add the acceleration, when your piston, I told you 0 degree to 90 degree, you will subtract the inertia force from the load on the piston, and from for angle greater than 90 to 180, you should add the acceleration, I mean inertia, to the load on the piston. If you keep a default negative symbol and you get a negative answer, you subtract a negative answer, what will happen? You will get a plus symbol by default. This symbol variation is taken care by the formula itself. You maintain a default negative symbol in the formula, but when you are writing it in the paper, you should not write minus. For solution purpose, you can put a default minus and put a bracket and write the answer whatever you are getting for inertia inside the bracket. Okay, put the inertia inside a bracket, maintain a minus symbol outside. Whatever, if you should add the inertia, you will get a minus answer, negative answer. If you should subtract the inertia, you will get a positive answer. This symbol, this addition or subtraction manipulation is taken care by the governing equation itself. So don't worry, always maintain a minus symbol in the formula, but when you are writing, you should not write minus, right? Plus or minus, that is the right way of representing it. Okay, so you are getting inertia force is equal to minus 14,172, right? So let's move on. I know that piston effort is equal to load on the piston. That's what I told you. For maintaining, you just keep a default minus for all the problems, whatever you have done earlier also, just keep a minus symbol there. If you are having a theta greater than 90, your Fi will automatically become a negative answer and will get added to the load on the piston. Okay, so you don't have to change the symbol, it will automatically change. Just keep a minus symbol, default minus symbol. Plus WR. Why did you get a plus WR? What is this WR? Weight of the reciprocating parts. When for a vertical engine, okay, for a vertical engine, so it's a very rough sketch. For a vertical engine, the theta value starts from here. When the piston is at the top dead center, your connecting rod and the crank will align in a single line. Okay, so this is your crank pin. Theta, when theta is 0 and up to theta is 180, your piston will be here, will be coming down and reach the bottom dead center. Okay, so for theta 0 to 180, your piston is traveling downwards. Remaining portion 180 to 360, your piston will travel upwards. So when my piston is traveling downwards, gravity is going to help me and add to the piston effort. Gravity will help you since your piston is moving down. How much it will help you? It is proportional to your mass, m into g. So that is nothing but WR. Mr into g is WR. Okay. Likewise, if your theta lies between 180 and 360, you will get a minus WR. This minus you have to put yourself. There is no consideration in the formula. You have to check the theta value. If it is between 0 and 180, you put a plus because the piston is moving downwards, gravity helps you. And again, if the piston is moving upwards, you are going against gravity between theta for 180 to 360, therefore you have to put a minus. Now my theta value is 125, so piston is traveling downwards, gravity is helping me, so I am putting plus WR. This WR is nothing but MR into acceleration due to gravity. Okay, that's it. So now substitute all the numbers into it. So I know that load on the piston is 2018 Newton, inertia force is minus 14,172, and WR is mass of the reciprocating parts into gravity, 225 into 9.81, 2207.25 Newton. The unit is missing there, please write the unit. Okay, so Newton. 2207.25 Newton. Okay, so now substitute all the numbers into the above formula. 2018 minus of minus 14,172 plus 2207.25. Therefore load on the piston is equal to 18,397 Newton. The piston effort is equal to 18,397 Newton. Okay, so that is the first answer. Now we have to find out what? We have to find out torque. So we have to find out Fp and phi and substitute everything into the torque formula. You will get the answer. Okay, Fp I found out. Next I have to find out phi. So therefore Fp equal to 18,397. Now as per the conventional, this age old formula, you know this already, sin phi equal to sin theta by n. So therefore sin phi equal to sin 125 by 5.33. So that is 0.1537. Do a sin inverse of 0.1537, you will get phi is equal to 8.84 degree. Now I can directly substitute all these numbers into the torque formula. Okay, so I want to find out turning moment on that crankshaft. Turning moment is nothing but torque. Okay, so now substitute. What is the formula for torque? Ft into r, that is Fp sin theta plus phi by cos phi into r. Now I have all the required data to substitute into this formula. Okay, so T is equal to Fp is 18,397, just now I have calculated, into sin theta is 125, phi is 8.84. Okay, so therefore what you do, this is your Fp, piston effort. So theta phi, again here phi multiplied by crank radius. Substitute all the numbers and do the calculation. Try to find out what is the numerical answer for this. Use your calculator and calculate it. Please be careful when you are putting this bracket. Okay, if you forget to put the bracket, this calculator will do sin 125 and add 8.84 to the answer. It is not correct. So be careful when you are putting the bracket for the both the angles. If possible, you add these two numbers and substitute the theta inside as a single number. So it should be 133.84. If you straight away put 133, it is much better, unless you are doing the brackets very perfectly. Okay, so now the answer is torque is equal to 3021.6 Newton meter. So that is the answer we are required to find out. That's all. Okay, so this problem is taken from your Kurmi book, example problem 15.8.